Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Just getting everyone connected here. Making sure. There you are. Hi, Pierre.
Hi. Good
How are
morning,
you?
everybody.
Good morning, Pierre. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Let's just give just 30 more seconds. We still have a few people connecting in, so just give everyone an opportunity to come in at the beginning. And 1 second here. Perfect. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Today we have an amazing program together with CLEI and Pierluigi Colombo, who I'll introduce in just a minute. Today we're just to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be doing. We have a presentation that has a few parts. So the first part includes pretty much a conversation with Pierre about transformable furniture and space-saving design, and how we can use these technologies to create more livable spaces and better home offices now that everyone is spending a bit more time at home. And then the second part of this will be a tour of the beautiful CLEI showroom at their factory in Italy with members of Pierre's family, Roberta and Luca. And they're going to be showing us many of these systems that we're going to be talking about during the webinar in action. And then please use the question and answer feature to ask any questions. If there are some questions that we can fit in during the presentation or the tour, we will be putting them in. But please know that at the end, we're going to have a question and answer session. So if absolutely anyone has any questions, we will make sure to get to them. Okay. So pretty much we're going to get started now. I'd like to introduce Pierluigi Colombo. He's already here on the call with us. He is the art director and senior product designer for CLEI. So Pierre, welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for the invitation. Hello, everybody.
Perfect. So let me click here. There's a lot of people on this call that have worked with CLEI before, that have done projects with CLEI, but I know that there's also a lot of people that are unfamiliar with CLEI as a company, with your family and what you do. So could you take a quick minute just to explain what CLEI is and what your company does?
Yes. First of all, CLEI is a company that is founded in '63 from the Colombo brothers family, my uncle and my father. And since the early '70s, they have explored the field of transformable furniture, concentrating at the beginning mainly on the bed theme. Then they have been researching this field as a mission, and in the last 25 years, they have passed from a collection of 5 models up to today, where we have 140 more or less different models and many different typologies. I can say that the company mission has always been to bring constantly new solutions and inventing new furniture typologies to meet the society changes and its needs. That's how the company has been developed, and always that's the starting point for every new idea and every new product we brought up and we develop and design. And now we are the second generation, me, my sister, and my 2 cousins, and we try to follow and develop this beautiful story.
I think your family has a beautiful story with CLEI, and I think it's also very important to show everyone that CLEI has been doing this for more than 50 years, and to kind of show the evolution. So we have here actually a commercial, an old commercial from CLEI that shows here, and actually it has Pierre as a little kid, one of the little kids here. I think this is a great video. So just to kind of introduce CLEI, I think this is a good starting point.
Yeah, this video shows how we already were focusing not only on the single element, but on a system to furnish the entire house, the wall, because we were never be focusing only on problem solution subject, but it was more a wider subject. We were focusing to how to change, how to meet the new needs of the society. And already in the 70s, the idea was to design a new concept of a house and to give new solutions to the interior designer how to furnish their apartment inside of the Italian houses first, and then also around the world, because we're collaborating with many companies since many different nations since the beginning of our story.
And I think the next slide really shows we've seen a lot of historic clay, and we finally arrive at clay of today, which has a lot of design focus. It's very
I mean, we started with space-saving furnitures with basically only one function, like more or less were already existing from the beginning of the century with the Murphy bed, especially in the States. The stone miles was to add the second function. So not only to achieve the aim or to gain some room, but also to give an opportunity to use within the 24 hours the room in a different way. That was the big step.
So we can learn a bit about you. I mean, we saw that you were in some historic commercials from clay as a little kid. You grew up surrounded by these space-saving furniture. Was that a big influence in your decision to study architecture and enter this field?
No, actually, the decision to become architect, it was not related with that. I always had a passion from architecture since I was a kid, and then I grew up during, especially during high school. So then you must know that in the Italian university in the 90s, now it's different, it's more close to the American system. But in the 90s, there were not specializations. So you had spread and open knowledge from a urban plan to the spoon. So going through all the different scale. And that somehow helped to have a very wide vision of how the design process, how the solution could have followed the changes of the society from, as I say, from a big scale down to the furniture, to the interiors, and to the object that at the end is actually the main actor to give us an answer, to give a real solution to some problems.
And I think you've made some very big advancements in this field, Pierre. And I think everyone needs to know that you were actually the designer of the first Murphy bed wall bed system that actually integrated a sofa. And one of the first designs ever to have the sofa was this system here called the Novoliola, which is still in production and we still sell quite successfully today. Can you tell us about the process of designing the first Murphy bed with a sofa and what your challenges were?
Yeah, I mean, the first sofa, the idea actually of putting a sofa in front of the bed came to my father's in the 90s. So then I gave him a support under the design point of view. Consider that the sofa at that time and until now, that was related with the second function of bed only through the normal model with the foldable bed net, which is a good solution for some specific cases, but not for sure for everyday use. And that it was related to an object. We were always been interested in interior, in the concept of space and interior architecture. So we wanted to have like a magic wall where things were coming out and giving services to
we'll show something like a magic wall later.
Okay, but so the sofa was placed in front of the bed, and the big issue was how to skip the dimension of the sofa in order to be able to put in front of it many different models that look like a real sofa and with a good design. So it's all big combination of design and technology, because we are talking about big elements that have to move. So you can do it in many different ways, but the technology and the cooperation with also good mechanical engineer is the secret, is what at the end was able to come up with something new under the topology point of view, but also that looked nice and reliable.
Of course, of course. And I think you had mentioned to me once that one of the big ideas that you had when designing the Nuvoliola was actually the shelf with the leg. Could you tell us a bit about that idea, that concept?
Yes, because we had an idea, as I say, to integrate the design of this facade as much as possible into a system. So we wanted to have a shelf in front of the facade, also to make it richer, to give at the same time the opportunity to have a grip and handle to open the bed. And so the idea was to connect these shelves with a system that basically is hidden inside to the, I would say, lateral gap of the facade, which is something that now has been copied 100 times, but I'm pretty proud to say that it was the first time we did something like that.
That's awesome.
And allows you to keep the objects on the shelving always parallel to the floor. So that's also
you don't have to remove anything as you open.
Exactly.
As I'm going to use something you said a few slides back, which is that CLEI tries to design products that permit you to spend 24 hours at home, and I think pretty much everyone listening has had a bit of an experience of that over the last few weeks as we've been spending a lot more time at home. And one of the ideas that gave us to have this webinar was we read a study by MIT that showed that over half of the American workforce is currently working from home in some capacity, either full-time or part-time. And pretty much that was the catalyst for this webinar. And we're about to go into specific technologies and specific designs that CLEI has that allows you to live pretty much better at home and work better from home and have a more livable home. So I just kind of wanted to see your concept as an architect and a designer. How do you see the home evolving, and how do you think CLEI can help people live better at home?
Well, actually, the subject that has been brought up from this bad period is something that we have been working on since the last 25 years, even more. So we were and we are ready already in these days to have already solutions that can and could have or can help the people that have to spend a lot of time at home to have a better life quality. Not only related to the lack of space, but especially with the possibility to use the room, as I said, in a flexible way.
Of course.
24 hours a day in a different way. So we have had many different solutions concerning the bed. But for example, I can give you my example. I've been working this last couple of months at home on a CLEI bed that has a desk that is 2 meters long, and is a perfect working station. You can open the bed at night without removing any object from the desk. So without it, I would have had problem. And I was actually in a separate room where my kid is sleeping, so I even have privacy. And so this is an example, but we have many other models that are already integrating the home office system. And furthermore, I would say the issue in this period mainly was how to work good, to find a corner to work, to have therefore privacy, And also the other issue was how to have space to do extra activities like the physical activity, to make some gym or yoga or whatever. That's also something where we could have given a big help, because consider if you can remove the double bed of your bedroom, you gain immediately 4 meters. You can do a lot.
Yeah, it's true. So let's get into it. I mean, CLEI has some incredible designs. The point of this really is to show technology that already exists and kind of jog the imagination and the mind of everyone that's watching as to how they can design better spaces. I think we need to start with the LGM, which in my opinion is one of the most iconic pieces that CLEI makes. Could you tell us a bit about this, Pierre?
Oh, this is one of the first, when I mentioned we had the 4 model in the early 70s, actually this is one of them. We basically never changed the cinematism, so the mechanism. We always been focused on adding new function and making the facade and the design better. But I must say that when I go to fair or to visit some new showroom, this is still the piece of furniture that give more emotion to the people. When you have the wow effect, that's
the same here in the showroom. It's the same here in the showroom.
It's really magic, the way that everything rotated and suddenly appears a bed and people are wondering where the objects are going to fall or not. And actually when it's closed is the one that is recessed better in the facade. You don't see the gap. It's really integrated. You don't even notice that there is a bed or a second function behind it. So,
even though we were going to do a showroom tour, I thought it was this one specifically because of the way it works. I thought it was interesting to show it video. So let's just show a little video of how this works.
Hi, today I'm going to show you how to maximize your space by turning this bookcase into a queen-size bed. You just turn it around. Bring the bed down. And open a table for your glass of water.
So I really think the LGM is incredible. But CLEI has lots of different other solutions that we can use for home office spaces. Could you tell us about the Church board here?
This is the model I was mentioning before. Actually, my son has a bed that is a bit smaller, but the concept is exactly the one I explained before. A big desk, 2 meters long, which is not easy to find. Within 2 meters, you could have a desk, a working station, a real bed, and you can place eventually cabin above the bed, so you even have a wardrobe. I think that 3 main solutions like that is something fantastic that you can have in every space.
And the important detail that Pierre had mentioned from before is if you notice on the picture on the right, the desk actually is horizontal underneath the bed with all of the objects on. So as the bed is lowered, the table stays horizontal the whole way down. So you don't actually have to remove any of the objects, your paper, your books, your computers. So it's very easy to transition from work mode into sleep mode with this system. So it's truly an incredible technology. We're going back to the image that I had shown a little earlier, mainly because this is a brand new photo of the Penelope sofa, and I love the color scheme. I love the composition that they made. Here we're showing 2 products, the product on the left, which is the home office cabinet, and the product on the right, which is the Penelope sofa. Could you tell us about both of these systems, Pierre?
Yeah, this is an example of how you can in one wall you can have 2 functions and space to store your things, using every square inch of the wall available. So there is a sofa that is not too big because it doesn't require this space, a big dimension, that is completely integrated into the facade. When you pull down the bed, actually this model is also motorized, so you can use a remote control. The sofa disappears under the bed. The bed is always ready, so you can go, you don't have to remove anything but the pillows. And aside of it, there is a block and a home office station that during the day can be closed, and is a white compact box, and you can open and leave all your tools and office stuff inside.
And I think specifically for when you have, when this home office area, for example, is in a bit of a more public area at home, this piece is great because you can be as messy as you want, and then you can just close the desk and the whole mess disappears. So it's, I think that's a big advantage of it's called home office, of the home office product.
Exactly.
This kind of shows two different systems from the ones before that kind of meets the same needs. A hiding table solution and a sofa with a bed solution. Could you tell us the difference between something like the Tango and the Penelope here?
The Tango is, first of all, a more important relaxing element because it's wider and it has the feature that are slightly different than the other one because the other element oblige to fold down the sofa during the opening of the bed. In this case, the bed goes over the sofa with a different mechanism. It's not just a pivotal mechanism, it's more complicated. It goes on tracks and allows you to keep the sofa with all its dimension without any mechanism involved. So actually you can have a better sofa quality. So that's the main difference. I don't know if I explained it.
No, I think it makes sense. The way the bed opens, it's a different mechanism on the Tango, so it permits you to have a better, more fixed sofa. And I think we have both of these systems on display in the showroom. So I mean, if you want to come check them out and take a look at both, this is actually the Tango right behind me. So that beyond just the catalog image, this is it's a great product for you to see and touch. So that's always very nice. We had seen earlier the Circe board, which was the system with the desk. Could you explain to us here the Circe sofa, and then also why does the bed open sideways?
The sides, because not you don't have always the possibility to put a vertical bed in our space, especially in the studios. Actually, for example, in the States, I know a little bit the typologies in New York City. They're pretty narrow and long, so not always there is space to put a vertical Murphy bed and to put a second function in front of it, which could be actually a small furniture to put the TV on. Yeah. Therefore, we have developed also different typology, like this one you can see, where the main, the long side of the bed is parallel to the wall.
And yeah, it occupies a lot less room into the actual space. So it's an interesting thing. And then in the back, I think this is more pretty much the solution you've been working on for the last few months.
Yeah, exactly. The solution we've been working on is a bit higher and has the wardrobe on top of it, so it's more.
Okay.
But this is more slim and it fits more for a living room solution.
And again, this is the same desk that we had seen earlier, but now in an individual bed. So as you can see, all the objects are still on the desk here at the bottom.
Exactly.
The Poppi Theater is a very interesting piece that I'd like you to talk about. But just before you do, what this made me think a lot about was I've been reading articles about young professionals that work in big cities like New York, and since the crisis began, they've actually left the city and gone home to their parents. Many of them have, but the problem is that their parents, since their kids had left, had actually downsized. So they had left the big house and were now living in either a small home or a small apartment. And I thought the Poppi Theater was actually a great solution for that, because you could put it with a television in the living room and still be able to sleep someone very comfortably. So could you tell us about this design and how the panel works?
Yeah, actually the design is focused on the living room. And is focused on a bed to be used mainly for the guest, because the focus is on the TV, and the way the sliding panel with the TV on is hiding most of the Murphy bed. So I like this model because it's very simple. Also, under the construction point of view, doesn't require many complicated technology and resources, and it works. It's quite elegant, so we use it pretty often where there is a sofa already integrated in the room, and you need an extra bed without making too many compromises with the aesthetic of your living room.
And I think it really does achieve that. And then, as you were saying earlier, one of the objectives of CLEI is to design for new needs and always to be innovating. Ella and Louis is actually the latest product that CLEI has put out into production. Could you tell us about this solution?
Yes, the origin of this solution was the necessity that came up in the last years of having, for example, with the Airbnb, or having a flexible solution like you have in the hotel rooms. So to be able to divide the bed into single bed, or to join them in a king size bed, but with all the features of a Murphy bed with the sofa in front. So all this is combined with a very specific mechanism that's allowed you to open the bed entire, open it separate, keep it closed when it's open, or divided for the use of two occupants that they want to have a little bit of privacy. And the market for it is as I say, the Airbnb, mainly the children's bedroom. Also, in the developing of the children's bedroom history, so to say, it can be a solution that can be useful along the years, and also in the business residence.
Yes, and something,
holiday residence for the contract market, and exactly the same necessity the hotel room has, but with an extra function.
Yeah, it also applies, for example, to apartments and homes. We get a lot to the request of a guest bedroom that sometimes the client receives like an adult couple that sleeps together, but also other times maybe it's their child and a friend who don't want to share a bed. So the Ella and Louis really does meet both concepts. And then to kind of move on from just the catalog images, we have two case studies really quick of actual practical solutions that we've done with CLEI. The first one was an Anima Domus project here in Key Biscayne, and the second one is actually an apartment that was designed by Pierre himself. And this here is a beachfront cabana that we designed. And as you can see, we actually have a system with a dining table that can sleep 2 people and can dine, have space for food for 4 people. And then another one with a sofa and another bed for 2 people. So in this one space that's only 200 square feet, we've been able to design pretty much an area where 4 people can relax, 4 people can have a meal, and 4 people can sleep in really almost an infinitesimal space. For the next one, Pierre, I mean, this is your project. Could you kind of tell us about pretty much unique applications of CLEI and this project itself?
Yes, this is a penthouse of a vacation house at the seaside in Italy.
Yeah. And
the roof is very low. So you basically have along the apartment, maybe an area of 1 meter, 1.5 meter wide, where you can actually walk without hitting your head on the trusses. So
okay.
It's very tight, like kind of, you can have a comparison with a boat. In this case, the possibility to have a real sofa, a very cozy corner that in the nights is becoming a real bed was make the big difference. And on the other side, you have a table that actually you need to close if you want to have some space during the day when you don't have to have lunch or dinner or work as a working station. And with this model, the Showroom model, actually you can do it. Or also the terrace as a second living room.
And I think from an architectural standpoint and a design standpoint, you did a spectacular job, Pierre. It's a beautiful project.
Thank you.
And I think what we've been able to show here is really that that clay brings lots of benefits. It allows you to have flexibility because they have many different designs, many different solutions that can meet pretty much any need that you have for your project. And really it allows for the space to adapt, right? Instead of buying multiple pieces of furniture, you can have one piece of furniture that can meet your needs not only along the day, but also along several years. So if family moves in or kids go to college and you start receiving more guests or you move to a smaller place, the modular nature and the transformable nature of clay really permits the furniture that you purchase to kind of adapt to whatever your needs are. Pierre, I mean, thank you for this wonderful presentation. Do you have anything else to say before we move on to the tour?
No, it's exactly, the focus is exactly on what you just said. I mean, multifunctionality, the concept is to be multifunctional, to be flexible within the 24 hours a day, within the week, within the month, within the year. So it's a philosophy of designing that it can be distributed all over the year. So it's also in terms of investing money for the developer is something that they have to be aware of, for example, not only for the final users, but in general, is a smart way to furnish, but it's also a smart way to think about the use of every single square inches.
Of course, that makes sense. So Pierre, I mean, don't go anywhere in case anyone has some questions for you at the end. But I'd like to introduce Roberta, who is your sister, and Luca, who is your cousin, so that we can do a cool showroom tour. So hi, Roberta. Let me just this presentation away, and we can.
Okay.
How are you?
Hello.
Yes, fine, thanks.
Hi,
Good,
nice
good.
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Luca. Perfect. How's everyone doing today?
We will have a very nice showroom tour.
Perfect.
We try to demonstrate all the beautiful things explained by Pierre. And we start. If you, Luca, are you ready? Okay, we can start.
You can see by live the product that Pierre talked about.
Perfect.
So this is the model Tango. Well, here we are in an ambient that could be a typical ambient where you'll have many different functions and have the multifunctional system. So we start from the Tango, that is a sofa with a sliding seat that can have also a box under the seat where to store pillows, sheets and many things.
Very
and
nice.
Then when we have to convert it into a queen size bed, we have just to move the back cushions and then take this handle from the shelf and then open it and relax on the top.
I think it's important to note that the shelf stayed horizontal the whole time. So if you had any objects there, it would remain.
Yes, because here we have a mechanism that allows us to maintain always horizontal the shelf. So everything we can put on this plane is maintained in this. We close it. You don't have to move.
Very cool. Super duper cool.
And the sofa could be realized in different shapes, of course, starting from the dimension in front of the bed, and then with the modular system can build a different kind of shape. So here we have another system called the Poppi Theater, the one you talked about before, and Roberta showed you what's happening.
Okay, this is the Poppi Theater, the model explained very well by Victor before. This is a single bed, okay?
No, wait.
Wait.
No problem.
Okay, sorry.
Perfect.
Okay, this is a single bed. It fits a mattress for one person, and you have the possibility when it is closed to have this sliding. The TV can be oriented because
So
it has an
from that.
arms. You can look the TV when you can watch TV when you are at bed, or during the day you simply close it. The panel slides. It be located in the middle of the composition. You have a bookshelf, and all the cables of the TV are completely disappeared because they are inside these sliding panels, sliding element.
Very cool.
So in this configuration, we will have a double bed, a big sofa, a really fantastic, comfortable big sofa, a TV element, and during the night you can have the third bed that you can use every night or maybe for occasional situation.
Of course.
Talking about the desk that could be transformed into a dining table, of course, because this is the position where we can have a cooking area, a dining room that could be used also for a studio or a desk in order to have the position for the home working or smart working, sorry. So we can let disappear it and use this area in a better way. So when we need more space, we can also have this one. And here under we have a storage. Here we have, we can have a drawing, we can have many configurations possible while using the system that is connected with the market bed.
Yeah, I love that product because it's pretty skinny, but then once you open it, it permits you to double the width. Roberta, I love this part. We've never shown this at Anima Domus yet, so I think everyone needs to be excited to watch this one.
Okay, this is a kitchen box, so it opens completely. You can have this collapsible plate where you can use as a normal space where to cook, or also a sort of a small table where to eat. And this is the complete kitchen box with fridge. You have washing machine, the sink, the induction oven, the wood, the microwave. So everything fits inside this small box. During the day, if you don't use it, you can close and you can leave this top open, because you can use also during the day as a normal desk or something where to work, a work table.
It's incredible that you were able to fit pretty much a complete kitchen inside a wardrobe dimension.
Sorry, I want to just to show only one thing, because yes. I want to say that if you look at this complete configuration, you can see how in a really small space you have everything. It's just missing a wardrobe in this case, but you have a kitchen, you have the table, you have the bookshelf, you have the bed, you have the sofa, the TV, and another bed. So everything is inside this space. And during the day, you can use the space, and you have also plenty space where to work, where to make gym, where to do wherever you want, whatever you want. So I think that it is important to see this configuration with everything, because it explains exactly the concept that we want to promote, our philosophy, that is the new way of living the space in a house, not only for solving space problems.
No, it's really brilliant, Roberta. Thank you.
As you can understand, this is another configuration with just roughly 4 meters, so we can have everything we could need in a smaller apartment or in a room.
Yeah.
To the kitchen, with a desk for the dining that we can also hide if we need more space, maybe just for clean the house. And behind here we have a mark bed with a king size dimension and some shelves inside. But I want to show also some other things that we have realized and that we have used also.
The magic wall Pierre was talking about earlier.
Yes, this one.
It's beautiful how from a design standpoint you were able to.
Yes, because we talk about housing motion and the flexibility, and we talk about flexible project. This is an idea in just to use better the space and not only to sleep, but the idea is most easy to understand when we talk about this because there's a potential. And the same we can do in this area because we can talk about the RGM, the masterpiece that you showed before in the video you realized.
So this is the model, one of the first clay models. It's about 70, end of 70 years. So it's a bed. It's simply turned. Everything you put in the front remains. Okay, you don't need to remove anything.
This one is spectacular, Roberta.
This is the bed. You also have the night tables. Okay, and you can have it only the block with the bed, or you can integrate it in with wardrobes, with bookshelves. You have also different sides of the bed. So if the bed fit a 35 deep or shelf, you will have a size of 35 centimeters. Otherwise, if it fit with a wardrobe, the side will be 60. So that's for an aesthetical point of view. And I want to show you because maybe it's important for you also to see when it's closed on a lateral side, that it's very nice because you don't have the big side of 60 centimeter, but you have a very light sensation because this side is just 35 centimeter. The front can be with doors, like in this case, or completely with the shelves, or one of the solutions that are absolutely, especially in this period, the best model is the one with shelves and with the table that you can close.
Which we showed
exactly,
in
the one that you show. Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Where you have a table. Thank you, Roberta. I think her connection.
Model.
My connection or
you're back.
Roberta
There we go. You're back. You're back.
My back?
Yes, you're back. You can keep going.
Okay. So here is an area for a concept that we try to push because it's a concept that we realize talking about the micro apartment. Then instead, split this apartment roughly 30 square meters that standardly is in feet. I don't know. Sorry,
It's
I
about
don't know.
No problem.
Okay. Here we can have two rooms, one dedicated to the home working or smart working that could be also converted into a room for two child, just using this, just transforming the CLEI board into a bunk bed or a single one. They are independent, so you can choose if the upper one. It has also this kind of system that permits us to easily redo the bed before.
The bed comes down, so it becomes a lot easier to change the bed sheets, and then you have the small ladder for kids to go up.
Yes, because the ladder is a part that is fixed on the lower bed and the upper bed in order to become just one piece, both. And just another important thing that we do in this series is to hide all the pistons that are used to move smoothly the bed when we open and close. So here on the side, we don't have any kind of pistons that is near to the people that sleep here.
Yeah, because in
innovation that we realized.
In many other solutions such as this, the piston is visible and it's exposed.
The same situation is realized for the CLEI, this one, yeah. And also for the Penelope and the Theater, also the single one like Altea. So all the system that uses this new kind of net bed base that is realized in this configuration, this material. So we are talking before. I talked about a sliding wall like this because here we have the living room that will be enlarged. Instead, has a.
So this is a concept CLEI has been working on for a few years of the movable wall.
Because the space has to be flexible, has to be used when we need. If we don't need a room, it's a junk space, if you don't a waste space. So we can use better. This is the same area, but now you can see how large it is now.
Yes.
And with this system, we could convert this sofa that has also a box under the seat where we can put
that's storage for pillows or bed linens or whatever you need.
Right, right. And then we transform, without moving anything else, we transform it into a bed.
This is the same bed frame from the Tango that we have seen earlier. But this model, essentially the advantage is you do not need to remove the back cushion of the sofa.
Right.
So
it's more practical. If you use also in rent apartment, use it also in for a contract or residential building that we sold it. And it's required also because, properly because it's very easy to use.
Yes.
When we have to convert it, we don't have to move anything. So we have just to use this angle and pull.
Perfect. Thank you, Luca.
So here we have another typical example of a multifunctional situation. This room, this space can be used for different purposes. That means can be used for roommates, can be used as a normal dining room, can living space, can be used also as a child room because you have different functions. That means, for example, this wall, you can absolutely have a very big desk. You have wardrobes, okay, two wardrobe elements with drawers, and of course you can transform it in a big single bed. That means it is a place and a half the dimension of the mattress, so it's perfect for teenagers. The dimension of the bed fit, it's very, very, very comfortable. You can have only the block, like in this case, or integrated with bookshelves, wardrobes, hanging bookshelf, and the dimension of this bed can be one place and a half, like this one, or the single bed. That means that is the same dimension of the bunk bed that Luca showed before, or it can also be a double bed. That means that you have the it's the church, that is the bed that you open in a horizontal way when you don't have space to have a vertical bed. So this is instead the same bed, but with the sofa in front of instead of the desk. So you simply close it. You have a very big sofa because the dimension of the bed is 2.16 meters. So also the dimension of the sofa, it's very comfortable and it's very big. Perfect. And in this space, you can use it as you want, absolutely. And during the day, you have a living space.
And Roberta, as kind of like an ending to our showroom tour, do we have the Ella and Louis?
Yes,
absolutely, yes. Now Luca will show you.
The Ella and Louis, the last but not the least. So this is the very innovative piece, a very innovative product that, as you saw, as it told before, you can convert this sofa into a king size bed. Of course, this has to remain on the wall. And then, if we are two friends, so we have a particular needs, we can split.
So you just take out the lock that holds the two beds together.
There is a lock, of course, to maintain the two parts together. And then we can slide it and transform it into different kind of two different beds. And then we can use it also separately in this way.
That's I love that product, Luca. Thank you.
The last one,
yes.
Just because we are talking about the period when if we have a desk that can appear from the wall, we have also this kind of system that is very easy to use it, and two different kind of back panels, one with the magnetic that you can move and play the shelves.
Super cool.
Sure.
Thank you, Luca and Roberta, for the showroom
That's
tour.
it.
We have a few questions. So one question here, actually, I think I can answer where they're asking about the installation details and drywall. So yes, these systems can be completely installed on drywall. How they work is there's a bracket along the top that we locate a few studs. Along the wall, and we screw that bracket onto the studs, and then the piece is screwed onto the bracket. It requires no fixation to the floor. It requires no reinforcement of the wall. All of the floor, all of the weight is on the floor on some leveling feet. It's actually super easy, and they're modular systems. So actually, we have a very long history of disassembling these systems. If for example, a client is moving to another home, and we're able to reassemble it somewhere else. So they're very easy to install and work in that manner. Roberta, I have a question here also to see some of the finishes. Do you have some finish samples there in your showroom? If not, I can show mine.
So here we have many kind of samples for the lacquered.
Wait. Okay.
Sorry.
Now.
So all the lacquered, water-based coating, so eco-friendly, and the melamine, different kind of melamine, and the white, the perla, the oak moro, oak sabbia.
The video froze a little bit. Okay, go ahead. We can see again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So melamine white, melamine perla, oak moro, oak sabbia, concrete, glossy white, the range of melamine, and then we have also the walnut wood, real wood, and oak wood, dark one.
And
but we can also realize something with a customized colors, finish that could be realized, of course.
And we have all of the finished samples in both of our showrooms. So if you would like to see them in person, feel free to stop by. We have all of the upholstery samples, all of the lacquer samples, the veneer and melamine samples. And we also have a very large
You can
plate.
also choose within 140, 160 different kind of fabrics that we have also in our collection. That you have also in the samples in the showroom.
We have a question now that someone missed the beginning. Don't worry, we're recording this presentation and we will be putting it up online so that whoever missed it or would like to watch it again can definitely watch the whole thing. We actually have a very good client and friend of ours, Renata, asking not a question really about the product, but pretty much just an idea for you guys to think about. So Pierre, just a concept, she said that they very often require some sort of a solution, especially here in Miami with the beautiful apartments with windows to the water, some sort of a solution that would permit to hide a television without blocking the view. So just to jog some thoughts, if you can come up with something in the future.
Okay, I will keep in mind.
I think I have I have a few more here that a client is asking if we can apply wallpaper directly to the CLEI systems. We've had clients do that here. We can do it, correct? Correct, Pierre?
Yes, we have two solutions. Either you can do it so in a more handcraft way. Actually works quite well on the back panel side of the bed, because then the edges are protected because they go inside of the gap of the uprights. So along the time it doesn't come out. Otherwise, we are started in the collaboration that are on the developing process with the companies that are printing on the panels, and they can basically do both things. So you can have on the wall wallpaper, and on the facade a printing subject that they reply faithfully what is on the wall, but more stable and reliable, because if it's a printing, then it doesn't stick out with time.
But the printing, we could do custom printing where the client provides a file and we're able to print?
We are developing. We try to figure it out what is the easier way to choose something like from a catalog, to have a certain idea already custom made, and at the same time to be open to do a personalized subject.
Yeah, that's I think
it's still on development. It's not available yet. These printings.
I think that will be quite successful. We have another question, Luca and Roberta, if maybe you want to show. They were asking if they saw LED in one of the models, and yes, you're able to add LED lighting to many of them. So Roberta, I don't know if you can show maybe one of the systems.
Yes, absolutely. I show it on the Tango.
Okay. And Deb, to answer your question, lighting is available on the majority of CLEI systems.
Yes, you can put the light on all our models.
Yeah,
our options. You can have with or without. So this is the LED.
It's a very nice reading light. It's angled properly. Yeah.
Yes.
And you can turn it on and off independently. It's available on both sides of the model.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Roberta. And then there's also a question on what sizes the systems come in. I mean, the sizes kind of depend per model, but CLEI makes pretty much systems that are an individual, almost an American twin size, a twin and a queen. It's not quite an American full, but it's almost. American full sheets work very nicely. And then a standard American queen size. So pretty much all their systems come, or not all the systems, their systems are available in 3 different sizes. 2 sizes for more individual use, 1 person, and then the queen size for 2 people. We also have a question of what's up and coming for CLEI. Any prototypes? Can we talk about the new LGM version or not yet?
Yeah, we can talk about it. I mean, it's we want to put the TV in front of it because it's very important to give the service, especially with new, very light LED models. So that's what we're working, and actually we are updating the mechanism. As I said before, the cinematism of this model is dated probably 71 or 72, I don't remember. So it's has a pretty long history. We just try to make it smoother and to update it to new technology.
Nice.
So that's one of the main projects we're working on.
Yeah, we saw at the Milan Fair last year the television system on the LGM, and I think that's something very exciting. Let me see here.
Basically, is also the necessity to bring electricity in the panel allows you also to have a workstation, because when you use it when you use the table as a working desk, and you have the possibility to plug your devices directly on the bed, makes a big difference.
Okay, so I think we've answered all the questions. Guys, thank you very much, Pierre, Roberta, and Luca. I think this presentation was great, and we demonstrated a lot of interesting concepts to everyone watching. Again, we have recorded this, and we will be putting it up online for whoever would like to watch it again. Thank you very much, Colombo family. I appreciate the time and the great information.
Thank you. Have a good time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Oh, of course. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.